Hello, hello, and welcome to Glue Wednesday. Those of you on the broadcast, good to see you. Those of you who are on the broadcast because you didn't get a chance to catch me live in my usual time, I apologize, but thank you for coming back. And there's one of my boys right there, Vic, always ready. I appreciate you, Vic. Yeah, I had technical, like I call it, scheduling conflict. I was speaking in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina yesterday with the South Carolina Department of um, Parole, Pardon, Prevention, and Pardon. So it was a great time, and then I had a chance to go hang out with one of my good boys from my past Wall Street Journal days, and in Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina. I didn't get back here as quickly as I thought I would, because the thing is, actually, I thought I was going to be broadcasting from his place. I took my stuff with me. I was excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be on the oceanfront broadcasting. But then he had something to do today. I was like, oops. So, yep. So that's why I didn't come to you at 1 o'clock today. And the reason I make that apology, because I do realize that some people use their lunch period to get on the Glue Wednesday, and that's at 1 o'clock. And that, by the way, that was the other thing. I tried to send an announcement from his place, letting everyone know that I was going to be late, and I couldn't get a connection. So, but it's 1:30. It's time for Glue Wednesday, and welcome. Those of you, if it's your first time on the broadcast, you'll learn that Glue Wednesday is a reminder that Wednesday is not it's called Hump Day, but it's not. It's actually the traditional it's actually the middle of a traditional week. Slow down. Sunday through Saturday. And Wednesday is the middle day that keeps the weekend and the weekend together. So I call it the glue. Because the key is, we don't need to have hump day. We don't need to get over. We don't need to bust our butt to get over. We need to glue. We need to keep it together. And especially as we come toward the holiday seasons, because you're going to see a lot of people falling apart toward the holiday season. Some of them, it's, by the way, part of our topic today is, it's a choice sometimes that we make to fall apart. So, don't decide in advance, oh, well, the holidays are hard on people. And, sure, you have loved ones that you miss spending the holiday with, but don't you miss spending every day with them? And I don't make little of that. I don't think it's funny, but I think it's that, come on, one of our topics today is words. We have to think about the words that we use, because they make a difference. So don't just tell yourself that you are going to be depressed during Thanksgiving or Christmas because you miss so-and-so. Honor those people, whatever anniversary. If it's the first Thanksgiving or Christmas you won't have them there, celebrate that, and take that moment and say, you know what, this is our first one without so-and-so. Let's have a word of prayer, a moment of silence, or let's just take 5 minutes and tell some jokes that they used to tell, some memories about them. Life, grieving is a tough thing to do, but life is about moving forward and celebrating that someone was in your life. Sure, you're going to miss them. That's a natural human tendency, but you have to celebrate that you had them. Isn't that something that's, more important? And isn't that what they would have wanted? Don't think about that. So let's go. So I listed, what I'm going to talk about: choices, words, grace, faith, peace, love, and path. Those are all the acronyms that I found out just in the book of Deuteronomy, from chapters 1 through 4. Hey, Brenda, from chapters 1 through 5 in Deuteronomy, because, as you know, hey, Johnny Worthy, this time when I read the Bible, it was my 8th time. I read it 8 times, so I don't know which reading this was, but every time I read the Bible, I read it with a different purpose, looking for something different, because you have to seek the Lord, seek understanding. So you have to know what you look. I was looking for a scripture that coincided with the acronyms that I already had. So I wanted to say, yeah, because I say that my acronyms are sent to me from God. So therefore, I wanted to see, maybe I could find some of the sources of where I got that message from, and it brought joy into my life to see those things. So on this reading, in the book of Deuteronomy, just from chapters 1 through 5, I found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of my acronyms that attach to scripture. So here they are. And in some of them, I had comments that I would, because I posted these, whatever year that was, on my other page that's called Faithbook. Faith, Faithbook. That's one of the pages that Facebook had closed down on me, and now they've reopened it. So I don't post on there anymore, but if you ever want to go over there and just look at some inspirational scriptural things, that's all there on Facebook. But that's also why I put that in the top, in the topic line here today. But let me see. It's so hard to point when you do live. Okay. But anyway, so that's faith is on the list. So let me go down. Let me go down the list. Because first in Deuteronomy 1, 9 through 14, it says, and this is Moses talking to the Israelites while they're on the journey. He says, "At that time I told you, you are too great a burden for me to carry all by myself. But how can I settle all your quarrels and problems by myself? Choose some men from each tribe who have wisdom, understanding, and a good reputation, and I will appoint them as your leaders." You agreed that my plan was a good one. And so I looked at that and I found my word choices. CHOICES. Challenge helps our individuality create expectations of success. Choices. Challenge helps our individuality create expectations of success. Don't worry if you don't get to write these down. I'll repost them and write out what the acronyms meant. But I looked at how Moses was saying, look, we're challenged because, yeah, we're on this journey to the promised land, but we have to make a choice as we make this almost a pilgrimage. But as we make our journey, it's a choice. Number one, we've chosen to go to the promised land because we were the chosen people by God to do this and to leave Egypt. And now we have to make a choice on how to govern ourselves, because that's what happened. It started, all of this, it was becoming too much weight on Moses's shoulder that he had to settle everybody's, because think about how many people are, think about if you're in a large family, or if you're at a job, you're on a team, where you've got less than 10 people, 20 people. We're talking thousands and millions. I don't know how many Israelites there were, but Moses was supposed to govern every single problem that all of them had, because that wasn't just one harmonious trip. So a lot of troubles came up. So Moses thought about it and he said, okay, and I remember, and I'm not being a Bible scholar here, by the way. I see I've got one of my good friends on here, Johnny Worthy. If you ever get a chance to go to his page, great scriptural guidance he'll give you, because he's an ordained pastor. I don't know what the title is, but I know that he's a man of God and the cloth, and I love listening to his word as well. So if you need some real textual insight, you can always check with him. So okay, but I'm giving you my interpretation, and I'm glad that he's on there. That made me think of that. I want to make sure that I let people know this is not me being a preacher. This is me interpreting the word the way I see it, which is what I think we all need to do. Because remember, one thing I do always say is the biggest help you can be to your pastor is not to use them to learn the word, but to help them by confirming that they know the word. So if you have an idea of what the scripture means, now when you go to church or you listen to your pastor, you can say, oh yeah, that's what I got out of it too. Or I didn't get that. Now I understand it better. Or as well as you can say, man, my pastor knows what he's talking about, or she, and that's why I follow them, because I know I'm getting fed and they're stretching the word out just a little bit more for me. I got the surface of it, but they gave me that undertone that I needed. That's why I follow them. That's why you choose a church. That's why you go. So don't just go to show off the outfits, or go because someone else says you need to be in church and you want to go hang out. And some people go to church to network, a lot of reasons. But, if you're going for the word and then you're going to have to live the word, then you want to make sure that you understand it as well. So make sure you get some understanding. So choice. So again, that's what Moses was saying to them. You know, let's break it down to where each of you is in charge of a certain number of people's arguments. So he had, and I know it said they broke them into groups of 10, 20, 50, 100, according to the experience and wisdom of the person who was one of Moses's officers. Let's call them that. And so that's what his choices. And they were and haven't you had that in your life, a challenge that made you have to come up with something where they say what is it, the mother of invention? Scarcity is the mother of invention or something like that. But that's what happens sometimes. We have to make a choice when we get a challenge and we come to a roadblock and we have to figure, okay, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to create a solution and I'm going to expect it to work. So I'm going to expect success. So when you make a choice, when you switch channels, walk a new path, know and decide and expect that you're going to have a new successful path to walk, because God didn't send you down a wrong path, and we didn't choose a wrong path. We chose the path that we were on, and we found out that that path had a roadblock or a stoppage to it, and it was time to go another path. I don't do regret. So I don't look and say, oh man, I blew that. I shouldn't have gone this way. I was like, I chose to go this way, and now this way has run out, but I don't know what would have happened had I made another choice. I'm still alive, and that's what is okay with me. And that goes back to what I said earlier about with the holidays coming up. Choose to be alive and celebrate the people that you miss. The next word I had is in Deuteronomy 1:28. It says, how can we go on? Our scouts have demoralized us with their report. They say that the people of the land are taller and more powerful than we are. And so when I read that, that was the scouts that the Israelites, Moses had sent out to look at the promised land and see what was going on. So they were scouts. And of the 12 scouts that were sent out, 10 of them came back saying, yo, we ain't gonna make you know, they giants, we scared of them, you know, and only Caleb and Joshua, right? I think it was just Caleb and Joshua were the only ones that said, no, yo, this is cool. This is where we need to go. But the other 10 said no. So I looked at that, and I looked at my acronym for words, WORDS. What others remember, and what others remember, destroy spirits. See, that's when your words are negative. You destroy spirits. And that's what was going on, is these other 10 scouts were passing out negativity and scaring the people. Words, what others remember, destroy spirits. They say, how can we go on? Our scouts have demoralized us. See, so that's the Israelites talking to Moses, whoever they were talking to. Yo, we can't go on. They've scared us. We can't go on. So when your words are negative, you demoralize someone and you help them not believe in who they are. And that takes them down. And in the process of taking them down, believe me, it'll take you down as well. So find a way to let your words be positive. Now words can be WORDS. What others remember and digest strengthens spirits. What others remember and digest strengthens spirits. See, because when you feed me words that make me feel good, it strengthens me, because now I can digest the word. Okay, so use positive vocabulary. You know, I always say that anyways. That's again why I was glad to read and find these words in the Bible. The next one is Deuteronomy 2:6-7. Pay them for whatever food or water you use. The Lord your God has blessed everything you have done and has watched you every step through this great wilderness. During these 40 years, the Lord your God has been with you and provided for your every need so that you lack nothing. I chose to use grace as my word for that scripture. And grace is God rewards and creates empathy. And when I read that scripture, I said to myself, I know that I can say the same in this modern age called my life. that God has guided me. He has been with me and provided my every need so that I lack nothing. You know, you've always heard me say, trust your track record and laugh at your lack record. If you don't know what a lack record is, a lack record is when you say you want to do something, you say, I want to do this, but I don't have that, so I can't do it. I lack the education. I lack the connection to get in. I lack the outfit. See, we come up with something that we lack that stops us from going forward, doing what we want to do or what we need to do. And so it becomes a part of your lack record. Because guess what happens? You still make progress and success, and then you find out, wait a minute, I didn't have that and I still made it. So now you can laugh at your lack record because what you thought you needed to get through, you didn't need, you just wanted it. And so there's a difference between needs and wants. I know my mother used to always say, we say, Mommy, I need so-and-so. She said, yeah, the only thing you need to do is stay black and die. And you and you can put whatever color or race in there, but that's the only thing that you need to do because you can't change those. But, you know, again, we got mother's wisdom that we use, and whoever you get your words from, you know, just think about some of those things that they say because it made sense. So grace, God rewards and creates empathy. You know, because I look at my life as an entrepreneur, and that I've had to go forward and you know, pay them for whatever food or water you get. I don't always get paid, especially when I started my speaking business. I didn't always get paid, not in money, but you know, it was great to have people appreciate the words that I use, and that's what has fueled me to keep going forward with my speaking business and my speaking gifts. And so that's the move, okay? And let me just do a quick shout out now. I see a couple of comments because I'm halfway through. But what's up, Miss Diva Style? Blessings to the room. Yeah, because you got to make room for yourself to be blessing. So I think that's what you meant. Hey, Barbara, long time no see. Love you. Yeah, my singer James Tankley is back. Good to see. Okay, I'm just looking at any comments. All right, good. All right, so let me move on. I got a few more acronyms I want to use, and we got 15 minutes left to go. Faith is the next one, and that's one of my favorites. And I got my t-shirt on for it. Faith, feeling as if there's hope. Da-na-na. Feeling as if there's hope, recognizing that the only thing you cannot do is give up. And have you stopped to give yourself credit for that? You haven't given up. Your faith is strong. And that's why I put it up in the top. And it's Deuteronomy 3:24. It says, "O sovereign Lord, I am your servant. You have only begun to show me your greatness and power. Is there any God in heaven or on earth who can perform such great deeds as yours rather?" So that's what faith is. It's really trusting in God and knowing that whatever is going on with you on earth is going to be okay. And that's why I say it's the only thing you cannot do is give up. And it's just like when people say, "Oh, the devil is busy." Yeah, he is, but that don't have nothing to do with me. His job is to be busy. Everything that happens in my life is of God. Even the bad things, as people call them, the challenges. I believe that every single challenge or bad thing or misstep that I've taken was a part of what God has put into my life. Come on, if you read the Bible, you'll see that everybody in there makes some kind of mistake so that they could get the blessing and become someone who we want to follow based on their scripture. You know, David was an adulterer and a murderer. And he's a direct lineage to Jesus Christ. Moses was leading the people out, but he didn't get to the promised land, as we'll see here, because he didn't trust and believe in God all the way. Remember when he came down from the mountain and he threw, yeah, you saw it in the 10 Commandments, and he threw the scriptures and blew them up, but he still, as Aaron, by the way, that's what I meant to say. Moses came down and Aaron said, "These people made me make them the gold calf." Boom. Okay. So and Aaron, his line were the Levites, okay, and so they were the ministers. So everybody in the Bible messed up. So if they messed up, and God, that was part of the deal for them to mess up so God could set up what he had to do. And you got to think back at some of the times that you've messed up and you're still here. These were not the acts of the devil working in your life, because think about it, the devil has no power. The devil asks questions. He asks. My sister told me the other day she was watching The Devil's Advocates, one of my favorite movies. I love that monologue that is it Robert De Niro that he does, where he says, "Let me tell you about God." He said, "God is watching you. I'm right here with you. I'm the devil. I'm hanging out with you." And people get caught up. And when you listen to it, it's so funny because it shows how, that simple appeal that he can make can win you over because you lose faith. So, hang in there, trust your faith. Every single challenge that you had was part of God setting you up so that you could appreciate what he's got for you. And if it's not for you, guess what? It was for someone else. God is the God of a second chances. Yes, Barbara. And so we can even and see, the way I look at it is a second chance. Is sometimes we misunderstand what a chance is. See, a second chance doesn't always mean that you messed up and then you're getting another chance. No, a chance is a blessing. So it's just like when you buy a raffle ticket, they say you're buying a chance. See, a chance is a blessing. So God had you do this, and then you found out, oh man, this is messed up. No, that was the blessing. I needed you to see that you don't need to go this way. Now, here's your second chance. That was chance number one for you to get where you need to go. And that was to show you that that wasn't the way. Now, here's chance number two. This is how you're on chance. And then you know what? And then I'm going to give you chance number three. So, again, think about how, words are powerful. Don't decide that a word instantly means one thing. Use your creativity and think about how it works for you. See, I decided that I'm going to let a chance be a raffle ticket. God is giving me a second chance. He's not punishing me. No, he's saying, you know what, my son, I want you to do this, because for me to really make your faith be where it needs to be, I need you to run into a wall. If I just keep moving things for you automatically and nothing ever slows you down, you won't even appreciate the blessing that you have. Think about that, okay? So chances, so faith, feeling as if there's hope. Recognize that the only thing you cannot do is give up. And that's Deuteronomy 3:24. Next, I had Deuteronomy 4:22. And it said, though you will cross the Jordan, here's what I'm talking about. This is chances coming up. Though you will cross the Jordan to occupy the land, I will die here on this side of the river. That's Moses talking to the Israelites. He said, yo, y'all are going to make it, but I'm going to die right here. And see, Moses understood that the future belonged to the kids. And he accepted that he had prepared them as best he could. And so you have to believe that you're doing the same thing. Believe in God's children. Stop saying these damn kids of today. They're related to the damn kids of yesterday. You have to believe in our kids. You did some things that technically say you shouldn't be here. Where did they get that from? Same place you got it from. Stop beating our kids down and recognize that the blessings that come to us can go through us and passed on to them sometimes. So if you see children mock and mirror adults, if you have a problem with the way they are, then maybe you're not the adult that they're mocking and mirroring, okay? So get your stuff together and help them get theirs together. Moses' job was to guide the Israelites. Then remember, the original plan wasn't 40 years of wandering. The original plan, according to what Moses thought, was we on our way to the promised land. Then they messed up. God said, you know what? Plan B, second chance. Okay, here's the new chance. Y'all not going to the promised land. We all gonna wander till all of you die, but your kids are going. See? So and even if we look at history and think about our ancestors, don't you know that those ancestors didn't know that what they were doing would come to fruition, but they believed it. They said, you know what? I got to give my life. I got to support this cause because I don't want my kids to go through this. And that's in every ethnicity, ladies and gentlemen. That's not just blacks in slavery and Jews in Holocaust. All of us, everybody's ancestors went through some stuff so that we could have a better life. All the inventions in our world, electricity, boats, cars, come on, all of this is stuff that they couldn't live. They couldn't think about. In fact, let's just go to medicine. Think about how we've got all these different drugs for certain things, and we got stitches, and but you've seen the movies where somebody, when they got a cut, they cut their leg off as a way of curing it. So they went through a lot of things because they believed that their children would get better. And that's the same thing that God was saying in the Bible. And that's what Moses understood. He understood, hey, I'm not going. So I'm not mad at y'all, children. I'm not mad at you. Stop being mad at your children for the blessings that they will receive through your hard work. Keep working hard so that they can receive those blessings. They'll honor your name. And that gives us right back to the beginning, what I was saying in terms of, if this is a holiday, where it's your first holiday, not celebrating with so-and-so, or the fifth, honor that memory of that person. Because remember, now yeah, that's right. You know what? They went through some stuff so I could celebrate this holiday. Man, I remember when she used to be here and we did this. That's really what it's about. Grieving is tough stuff, y'all, but you've got to find a way to let it fuel you instead of bring you down. Two more. Oh, I didn't tell you what the acronym was for that, Deuteronomy 4:22. It was peace, P-E-A-C-E, placing eternity above chaos and evil. See, that's what I'm saying. Moses was at peace. He placed eternity above chaos and evil. And the eternity is happening for him. His name is always going to be mentioned. And he knew that it's more important for me to do what I'm supposed to do to get these kids to this promised land. I'm not going to get to go. So, but I'm going to be in eternity with God and in their heart and spirit to remember this nonsense that we were going through. I got them through safely. And that's what's important. So be at peace. Have peace with the decisions that you make. Don't do regret. Come to peace with the decisions that you make. And that's what I mean by, I was talking about no regret, but having peace. Time's up. That memory will come back. All right. But be at peace with the decisions that you make, and know that it's going to, oh, there it is. And that it's going to make a difference because you learned that that path wasn't a good path. Now you can pass that on. Now maybe you can stop, and you don't have to wait for your kids. You may not even have maternal kids, but you can say to someone else, no, don't do that. Go this way. And that's really what it's all about, is us finding a way to help someone else go another way. And that walks right into my next scripture, which is Deuteronomy 5:15. And I'm actually going to give you the acronym in advance on this one because it's LOVE. Let ourselves value everyone. Let ourselves value everyone. We got to love everybody. And that's what I mean about once you make a move, you can help guide someone else. Everyone deserves guidance. And here's the scripture for it, Deuteronomy 5:15. Remember that you were once slaves in Egypt, and that the Lord your God brought you out with amazing power and mighty deeds. Bam. See, so that's what, isn't that something? Sometimes you have to recognize, look, you had this. So you looking at somebody, I don't know. Well, I work my butt off. They need to get there. No. You need to value everybody because there was a time where you did not have. And you don't know what their situation is, why they're going through what they're going through. Let us try to be, my prayer every day is to be less judgmental because I know I'll never make it to non-judgmental. And why do I say that? Because of the cliche that we all have and most of us believe, and that is fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. That's judgmental. That's saying if you scam me, the next time somebody who looks like you or says what you said to me, they're going to try to scam me, I'm not going to let them do that. I'm going to see, so yeah, fool me once, shame on you. That's a shame that you scam me. Okay. But the next time somebody that looks like you or reminds me of how that you scam me, I'm not going to let it happen. That means I'm judging them. I've decided they just like you going to try to scam me. So, it's not a bad thing. Continue to keep that cliche, by the way. It's one of my favorites. I'm not going to get scammed twice. I'm not going to get shamed. Fool me once. Yeah, that's it. And that goes back to what Barbara said, the God is the God of second chance. I'm not the God of a second chance. Once you stab me in the back, it's a wrap, y'all. That's just the way I live. Right or wrong, I don't worry about it. That's who I am. And so who are you? Are you comfortable with being who you are? There's that, be at peace with who you are and how you guide people. I believe what I say. I don't practice what I preach. I preach what I practice. And so I know that when I say something to someone, I mean that. I think about what I'm going to say. So I'm not going to be always pulling back my words and having to do a whole lot of apologizing. That's what I do. And so, it's a decision that you have to make. And now, P.S., by the way, if I do something to harm someone or if I consider myself wrong, I don't have a problem apologizing. I'm not that proud. Now, well, no, I ain't going to let them know. No. If I see the error in my ways, I will apologize because I'm learning and growing as well. And I may have an opinion, a strong opinion about something, and then I find out new information and I react, I have to change the way I look at that, and I have to change the way I live, and I will happily apologize. That's just the way it goes. How do you handle things? Because that's really what's important. Not how I handle them, but how do you handle them? And so that takes us on to our last acronym, and that is in Deuteronomy 5:32 through 33. So Moses told the people, stay on the path that the Lord your God has commanded for you to follow. And I got to tell you, my acronym on that is PATH, P-A-T-H. Your pilot always takes you home. Your pilot always takes you home. Moses told the people, stay on the path that the Lord your God has commanded you to follow. Then you will live long and prosperous lives in the land you are about to enter and occupy. Now, long and prosperous are relative experiences because long, even 83-year-old people, they say, well, they died young, so a long life is relative, and prosperous is also relative because some people make millions and you heard them saying they're unhappy. Some make $10 and they're happy. Prosperity is also a personal experience. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Don't worry about how long someone else lived, how much money they've got, how many possessions they have. What do you have, and are you happy with it? Okay? Long and prosperous are relative experiences. Know that God, and this is me, not the scripture, know that God has positioned you to light the way for someone else. Remember, let ourselves value everyone. Replace the word land with the word life, and shine your smile. So if we replace the word land with the word life, that last sentence would read, then you will live long and prosperous lives in the life you are about to enter and occupy. Because that's the thing, we are entering and occupying a life. This is the day that the Lord has made, but this is the life that he has given you to take charge of and be an example for someone else. So take charge of that life and shine your smile. Let people know that, yeah, God is working through me and I'm happy. And I can pass that happiness on through sharing it. And that's what I want you to do. So again, think about all of the, I'm going to retype the different, and on the YouTube channel, by the way, I always place them in there. So go check that because I need y'all to subscribe to my YouTube channel anyway. Apparently, the way the marketing goes. So go, but I'll place them in here because I love y'all anyway. But please go to YouTube and at least go on and click on subscribe, because that way you can always come back and look at any of these Glue Wednesday broadcasts without going through all of the posts. And you could just see different ones. And then there's a lot of stuff that I posted on there before I start doing the broadcast. But thanks so much for joining in today. Remember to make the right choices and choose your words carefully so that you can continue to receive God's grace with all the faith that you know you deserve to have, so that you can have peace of mind and be at peace with the decisions that you make as you bring people in the fold and love everybody. Value all of them, because even the knuckleheads in your life have a purpose, because sometimes it's easier to follow a bad example than it is to follow a good one, because we will look at a bad example and say, I am not going to do that. I will not do that. But we look at a good example and say, I don't think I can do that. So, so make sure that you know who you're following, and that will help you understand the path that God has chosen for you. And your path was never supposed to be a smooth path. Never. It was supposed to have some bumps, because one thing is for sure, you can take the bumps. Look at your track record, trust your track record, laugh at your lack record, and take those bumps. Choose your messengers carefully. Recognize that you're always being chosen as a messenger. And I look forward to being a messenger for you again next week on Glue Wednesday with Sporty King. Thank you all. God bless you, and have a good day. And yes, Peggy, honesty is the best policy, and it is. And it's a tough policy, because you have people who decide they want to say, I'm going to be brutally honest. Honesty is not an opportunity for you to spill out everything you've been storing up. That's where honesty being the best policy, what we've got to remember is that honesty needs to really kind of be in the moment. See, so don't be, storing up things and then, I'm just going to blurt it all out and be honest about how I feel. Be honest about what's going on with you in the moment. If not in that exact moment because your emotions are driving you, at least, recent. Okay. And okay, yeah, thanks, Vic. Peace out to you. Appreciate that. Diva, good to see you again. Good day to everyone. And yes, thank you for saying hello to everyone on the broadcast. That's something I love when somebody does that. All right, thank y'all. And I'll be back at 1 o'clock next week. I know I won't have any scheduling complex. Love you. Ciao.